Welcome back to Gardener's Cottage in Blakeney and Clean with Kate. I've just brought you across to see the cottage. We're over here doing a setup and I just thought you might like to see what's going on. It's the beginning of June, the roses are at their absolute best. Golly, I think I might have to cut this back. I think what I'll do is I'll cut it back and I'll pop it in a vase in the kitchen because I think it looked really pretty. So I must remember to do that. Golly, make sure I do. You might have to remind me. So just showing you the front of the cottage, which is at this time of year completely disappears under this huge rambling rose, which is just about finished flowering now. So I think we'll need to give it a cut back. Although actually last year we planted a new one in here, which has just got going actually. I can see it coming through the top with white flowers on it. So you must be careful not to cut it back too early. The cottage garden plants like this Lysimachia are doing really well at the moment. It's quite a blustery day, so I don't think we'll be spending long in the garden. But I just wanted to show you this fantastic rambling rector here, which is in full flower at the entrance. Again, I may have to cut some of this back. I could pop it in a vase because it is getting a little overgrown here, isn't it? But it's just wonderful. And also next to it, we've got this amazing mock orange, which just scents, on a sunny day, the scent of this just fills the entrance to the cottage. I'm probably not going to get into the garden today. I may do. We'll just see. It's been a little rainy today, but let's just go up to the cottage entrance. So there's this lovely repeat flowering climbing rose at the front of the cottage. I did think it was golden showers, but I'm not sure if it is. Let me know if you know what variety of this rose is. I planted it many years ago and I don't think there's a label left on it, but it's a really reliable rose. It's lots of really good healthy foliage, never have to do much with it. It's in a real dry rain shadow, doesn't get a lot of sun, and it does this through until Christmas. It's amazing. It's one of the first to flower and one of the last to finish. We never get any pest issues with it. It's a wonderful rose. So I've put that, I've got a little gap at the moment. I haven't got my geraniums out yet, so I've just put these little artificial flowers in here. Anyway, let's go inside. So, welcome to the cottage. Golly, we're all set up. We're ready to go. I might put a bigger entrance mat in. Actually, this one's a bit tiddly. I had to take the big one out to wash it. Well, it's nice and warm in here. We'll just pop the heating up because it's a bit of a chilly day today, although it has been really nice and sunny. We'll just start in the Snug. So the Snug is a sort of TV lounge. It's a really cosy room in winter for relaxing, watching films. There's all sorts. I think I've left the Christmas films out. I've just happened to notice. So I've got a lovely little collection of vintage prints in here, and they're all themed on the garden. Golly, I think this one's my absolute favourite. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know what rose it is. Does it say on there? I think it's in French, but that's my favourite sort of rose. But I pick these little prints up when I see them in charity shops or at auction. They're very inexpensive to buy, and they're a lot cheaper than wallpaper, and they're easy to replace if they get damaged. And there's another one here. So I think this is another rose one. Rosa Monday. That's a lovely rose. One of the oldest roses. I think Mike's watered the house plants. It's another little tiny vintage print here. Oh, I love this one. This reminds me of the rose at the front of the house. And again, it's got the name. These are all French. These are French prints that I just picked up at auction. The spider plant's doing very well in here. I think I'm going to need to propagate it. It's having babies. In fact, all the plants in here are doing really well. I think Mike's watered them, but I'm just going to turn them because they are growing lopsided. It's just, oh dear, I don't think I'm going to turn that one without it falling over. Maybe next week. I think that one's ready for repotting. So there's a log burner in here, and this is just a really cozy sort of room to relax in. Again, more vintage prints here. I love a vintage floral print. I think I'm going to leave the house plants alone. Let me just check they're warm, had enough water. That one's a bit on the dry side. I think I need to water that one because there's quite a big radiator in this room, which is blasting the heat out all along this window. The house is double glazed. Let me just... The house is about... It was built in the 1950s. I think the house was actually... you won the plans for the house in a newspaper. I'll just give you a little view back at the Snug. So it was built in the 1950s, so it's about 75 years old. And then initially the house had the house, and then there was an annex, and they were separate. And this part of this was the house and part of this was the annex. And about, oh golly, how many years ago is it now? So it's quite a long time ago. We've owned the house over 20 years, but I think about 15 years ago, we did a major sort of renovation on the house, and we joined the annex and the main house, and we got rid of a lot of little rooms and made this really big kitchen, which you see now, which is a kind of living kitchen, really. It's a really good family room. It's got a larder, so it's really cozy in winter. It's just a really nice room to spend time in. It's got sofas, it's got a TV in the cupboard, it's got 2 huge fridge freezers, because the house is a holiday let. It used to be our family sort of holiday house. We used to come here with our children, but now that we live in Norfolk full time, we let it out as a holiday let with the Blakeney Cottage Company. And because the house is quite a large cottage and sleeps up to 14 people, we used to manage with this one fridge freezer. But we actually recently, in the last couple of years, we put a second fridge freezer in, just because the feedback we had was that people couldn't get all their shopping in the other fridge, which is fair enough. Even my daughter, I think, had stayed here and said to me, Mum, that the fridge just isn't big enough when you're in a big group. So it now has this huge Arga fridge freezer in the corner, which means you can always get your shopping in. So this is a really lovely room to spend time in. It's my favourite room probably in the house. Although having said that, I love the Snug in winter. I absolutely love the Snug, because with the log burner lit, it's just, when you come in for a sort of windy dog walk, it's a lovely room to relax in. So we're all set up ready for the guests coming in. They come in a couple of hours. So we're just over here doing our final checks, making sure everything's as it should be. So hopefully the weather, it has been a little rainy this morning, which is good. It means we don't have to water the garden today, which we have had to do a lot recently. But hopefully by the time they arrive, the sun will be out. That's what I'm hoping. The garden's looking really good with the rain. I'll just take you through here. So the house is really set up so that people can entertain, they can cook. There's lots of crockery, because if you're in a big group, eating out can get quite expensive, so it's nice to be able to self-cater. I'll just give you a peek into the garden. The climbing roses have done really well this year, although actually I think we do need to get out there and put some more wires in. They've really grown well this year, and the wind's blown them around a little bit. Hopefully there's going to be some nice sunshine this weekend so they can get out and enjoy the sort of part-walled garden. The garden's incredibly sheltered and private, so it's a really nice place to spend time. You must let me know, what else would you like to see? What would you like to know about the cottage? Because I just tend to tell you what I like. This is a sort of toast area where you can make your breakfast. And these cupboards are full of crockery here. So there's lots of glasses and cups and things. Right, where should we go next? So this is, we're back into the entrance hall. So the first bedroom you come to is the 4-poster bedroom, which is a large sort of ensuite bedroom. It has a good sized bathroom and a little dressing table area, a wardrobe and chest of drawers. It looks out over the front drive. So it's quite dark at this time of year because of the climbing rose, but that will be getting cut up soon. It'll brighten it up. But it's one of my favourite rooms in the house. I really like this bedroom. And it has this enormous ensuite bathroom with a bath, a shower, toilet and a wash basin and a chair. And we've sort of themed it on a Norfolky theme and gone with sort of coastal colours, lots of vintage sort of Peter Scott prints. It's quite a large bath. With hindsight, the bath is very, very large. And what we've had to actually put a sign up, because people didn't realise that we've got 3 baths in the house. If people all have baths when they're staying here, it does tend to drain the water tank quite quickly. So we've had to put this little sign up. Mike wrote it, saying it's just like at home. We couldn't build a hotel boiler house. I think people who are used to staying in hotels or have a heating system where it heats the water as it comes through, which we've had one of those in the past. They are very slow. We used to have another property which had that. And so Mike had to put a little note up saying, filling this large tub takes a lot of hot water at peak times, and when the house is full, you may consider a quick shower, so there's lots of hot water for everyone. Because I think people don't fully understand that it's just a house, it's not a hotel. And that bath is probably a similar size to the hot water tank. I don't know why we fitted such an enormous bath in here. I think it was a little over ambitious, because it is a size of a water tank. We may need to, in the autumn or the winter, when we take the property off letting for a month, usually in January, to do maintenance, we may need to look at putting a second water tank in, but our water tank is enormous. But of course if you fill a couple of baths, it empties the water tank, however big it is. There's another bathroom in here. I love this little room. This is the downstairs toilet. So if you're staying in the cottage, this would be the toilet you use as the main toilet when you're just downstairs. It has a high flush toilet. And again, it's themed on a coastal and a Blakeney theme with these little seals and shells that our children collected when they were here, because our children spent a lot of time here when they were little. And one of them still loves to come to Blakeney. The two boys have sort of not got back into Blakeney yet. I think maybe one day they will, but our daughter loves Blakeney. So there's another, if I see these things, I tend to pick them up just because they make me think of Blakeney. Oh, that picture needs straightening. And there's a Blakeney seal trip on there. And there's another downstairs bedroom here. So this property, because we have two large downstairs bedrooms, is very popular with families, particularly families coming away with older relatives who may not be able to manage stairs. So it's almost like you've got the advantages of being in a bungalow, but you've also got an upstairs. And this bedroom looks out over our little courtyard, which at this time of year is a little overgrown. Oh my goodness, I think I should have brought those pegs in. They're all wet now, aren't they? Oh well, I might have to leave that till after the guests come out because they're all wet. Hopefully they'll dry in the sun. There's a little seating area in here, so you can have a bit of private time, and a little bookcase that I'm in the process of stocking. But it's just a nice room. I'm just going to have a sit down. Nice room to relax in, have your cup of coffee. There's a television in the TV cupboard there, and you can look back at the house. So if you're just here in a group and you want to get a bit of peace and quiet, or you want a nap, it's just a nice place to come and watch TV and just relax. Or you could sit out in the little garden. It's got its own little garden, this one. Anyway, off this bedroom is strange as it may seem, is a utility room. I don't know why we didn't put an ensuite off here, but I think at the time we had 3 young children and we had dogs, and this was more what we wanted. We wanted a utility room. I think maybe we were using that as a bedroom, I think, because my mum used to stay in it when she was alive. So we have a large utility room with everything you could possibly need to do your laundry, including airers. A couple of hangers are in here. This armoire has spare bedding. And then there's a washing machine and a tumble dryer and a sink. And it looks out over the little courtyard where you hang your washing out. It's quite handy because it means if you've hung your swimming stuff out, you remember to get it in. This door leads through into the garage, but where the boiler is. And this is just for if you want to do any ironing while you're here. Say if you're going out for dinner, you might want to do a bit of ironing. Right, where are we going next? There's a little wardrobe in here. Lots of sort of coastal pictures. A mirror. So we're going back through now into the hallway. There's a cupboard here for keeping coats in. I love this cupboard because it has the hot water pipes running through it. So in winter, in fact, they're boiling hot today. In winter, it's wonderful. If you come in from a walk and your coats are a little bit damp, you put them in there and they dry off really quickly. And the other lovely thing is in winter, you put your coats in there, and when you go on a walk, you're putting on a lovely warm coat because it's been on the hot water pipes. I only discovered that this year, and I've had this house for 20 years. How I didn't know the hot water pipes ran through the cupboard is beyond me. Anyway, we're going upstairs, going up the cottage staircase. Whoops, nearly fell. Right, which way should we go? I think we'll go left for a change. So in here is the family bathroom. But I think of this as a children's bathroom really, because it's got a chair in here. So if you've got a child, you can sit with them. Or there's a little shower in here, toilet, all the usual amenities. And there's a lovely picture of Blakeney. I think this is quite an old, whoops, that's very creaky. This is an old photo of Blakeney, probably taken in the 1970s. But do you know, it still looks the same. Blakeney hasn't changed very much. I think that's why we love it. It's like it's in a little time warp. It's still a very traditional British sort of seaside-y little fishing village. And the things you can do here with children are very similar. The children go in the quay, they go crab fishing. So there's a bedroom here. I like it. This is a cute little bedroom. It's really peaceful, this room, because it's at the back of the house. I don't know why, but there's no light at all at the back of the house. There's no lighting in the gardens behind us. So this is a really dark room, which I like. I like a dark room. Whereas one of the bedrooms on the front of the house does get some light from the light on the road, on the street. Although we're off the road, we're not on the road. We're slightly, what's the word I'm looking for? We're down a private lane, down an unmade road. So we're very, very privately located in Blakeney. And the house is surrounded on this side by this high sort of 10-foot flint wall. I think the wall's actually older than the house. The wall's probably a couple of 100 years old. And we have flowers growing out of it. I'm just giving you a little view into the garden because we're probably not going to go out there today. I did do a garden tour. I think I did a garden tour last week, so I'll probably try and link it in the description. We might pop out. And we've got a huge fig tree growing up the side of the house that you can probably see here. It's a lovely sunny patio. The garden's incredibly sheltered, so it has a microclimate. So you can sit out usually pretty much all year round. We've sat out and eaten outside with our children, even in January, February, March. But we are pretty tough. We do like to be outdoors. Okay, I'm taking you through now to the family room. So it's another large bedroom. We're very lucky with this house. The bedrooms are a good size. I think houses when they were built in the 50s generally had good sized rooms. In this room we've got 2 single beds and a very large king size bed. So this is an ideal room really for families with young children. And again, this looks out over the walled garden and the roses. And again, it's very, it's very private. We're not really overlooked. And on this aspect, it looks out into Blakeney. It doesn't look out onto another house. There's a few houses in the distance, but it looks out over a car park. But it's not a noisy car park. It's a very peaceful car park. It's the Blakeney Residence car park. So it's not rowdy at all. And we're about a 5-minute walk away from the pub, but it's not the pub car park. So we're looking out over the little courtyard. You can hear the birds singing. You can hear how peaceful it is. We're literally 5 minutes from Blakeney Quay, but it's such a peaceful location. This is a large cupboard in this room, so it's really handy for putting your clothes, your luggage, or anything you just want out of sight. This is one of my projects actually for this year. I keep forgetting to do it. Oh my goodness, I need to write a list of projects. I want to do something with the inside of this cupboard. It's just painted white, but it doesn't spark joy in me. Mike's had a go at putting a different colour on it, but I think it needs another coat. What would you do? You know what I'd really like to do? I'd like to wallpaper it. What do you think? Or wood panel it maybe? If I would panel it though, I would be very practical actually. That is not a bad solution. Or I could panel it. I could panel it with MDF. But it's just something about it isn't working for me. So please pop your suggestions and comments. What would you do with this cupboard? It is part of the building, so it's probably made out of plasterboard probably. But it's a really useful storage cupboard. But I'd like it to be one of those. I'd like it to when you open it, you go wow. And at the moment, I don't go wow when I open it. So what would you do? Would you wallpaper it? Would you paint it? That could be a really interesting winter project for this year or next year when we've got a gap. Is it beyond us, or do we need to get a builder in, do you think, or could we do it ourselves? I'm thinking maybe panelling. We could make it really interesting. Anyway, we're on to the landing. Again, I've got sort of coastal themed pictures on here. Got this big dresser. I've got another reminder about the baths. We didn't used to have that up, but recently we had some feedback on Google saying that a large group was unable to run enough baths. So we thought maybe it was important to point out that the boiler and the water tank would not cope with 14 people trying to have baths in quick succession. I'm just showing you the pictures. All right, we're going into the last of the bedrooms now. Again, this is one of my favourite bedrooms. It's another really large bedroom. I think of this as the master bedroom. I think it's one of 2 master bedrooms. I think of this as our French bedroom because when we styled this room, we very much styled it on the theme of a hotel we stayed in France, a very traditional old-fashioned hotel in Perpignan. and the picture just reminded us of Perpignan. It just has a very French feel to it. There's a lovely park in Perpignan that we used to walk through on our way to a restaurant, and it looks just like this. I don't know if this is, I don't know where this picture is. If you recognise where this picture is of, please do let us know, but it just reminds us of our honeymoon in France. And again, the bed is a vintage French bed and very much reminds us of our honeymoon in France. So I'll just show you, there's a little dressing table in here, a mirror, a really tiny wardrobe. It was the only size wardrobe we could actually fit in this bedroom because the eaves are very low. So it's a really dinky little wardrobe, but you know, it's useful. But you know, when I come here, I tend to just pop my clothes on a hanger on the back of the door just because it's easy. Or keep them in there. Sometimes I keep them in the suitcase. So there's a little coffee area here, and there's a little single bed in case you have a young child that you want to sleep in with you. Okay, so there's the hangers, because that's where I tend to put my clothes, just so they're accessible. Okay, now we're into the last room. This is the ensuite off the master bedroom. So there's another little reminder about the bath. Mike made quite a lot of little signs, because again, this is another huge bath. What were we thinking? Why on earth did we put 4 baths in? I don't know what we were thinking. I do love a bath, and my children love a bath, but we were always planning to let the property. Why we didn't put so many baths in is beyond me. If you were doing a holiday let, I would recommend not putting lots of baths in, because it can just cause you problems because your boiler and your water tank just don't cope with having this many baths run at once. Showers are much better. A quick shower uses so much less water than a large bath. And the water pressure in Blakeney is quite low. I'll just show you the back of the door. I love these Lloyd looms. They're really practical. They make really practical bathroom chairs. And I particularly love the colour of this one, this dusky pink. I think I need some plants in here. I think maybe artificial plants actually, because the light levels aren't great in here. What do you think? What would you do with this bathroom? I feel it needs something. And I think probably the answer is some plants. I've got a plant stand here. I always intended to put a plant in here. I think I'm going to do that. I think that's my project for this week, is to get some plants for this bathroom. I feel it needs a little more tweaking. I think maybe a picture as well. I think I want a picture here. So I'm going to start looking for some new pictures. It just is, I think it needs redecorating as well, actually, looking here. I just feel it needs something, but I haven't quite worked out what. Anyway, let's go downstairs. Let's pop in the garden. I think the rain has stopped. Mike's very patiently waiting for me. He's with the dogs. We can't let the dogs in today because the house has been set up ready for the guests, so they're having to stay in the car. They're being really good. Let's just have a little pop into the garden to finish. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see more of, because I do tend to whiz round. There's a wine fridge here, because that's always useful when you're on holiday in a big group. And there's another cupboard here that you can either use, well, it did used to be a wardrobe, so we have actually left those in there, because it's actually an airing cupboard, because it has a little radiator in here. This is the lovely joy. When you inherit an older house, they have really quirky features, like they have a radiator in a cupboard, because it was an airing cupboard. But we've actually put some shelves in here, so you can also use it to store things like groceries, as long as they can cope with. Maybe I should switch the radiator off in the cupboard. I might do that. Because if you're storing your groceries in there, you don't really want the heat on, do you? So the coffee area is all set up and clean, ready for the guests. So we've got a DeLonghi coffee machine. You know how much I love a DeLonghi coffee machine. They're my favourites. We've also got a pod machine. We've also got the cafetiere, which is much simpler if you don't fancy operating the machinery. Let's just pop out into the garden since the rain stopped. You can hear the birds singing. It's not too bad actually. The rain has stopped and the sun has come out. So we'll just finish up with a little wander around the garden. But I have to be a bit careful because I don't want to get my shoes wet. So I'll probably stay on the gravel. Golly, look at that poppy, isn't that fabulous? Look at the colour on that. That's just come out in the last week. In fact, I think that's come out since Monday. What else has happened? Anything else? Oh, wasn't it wonderful when the sun comes out? Anyway, thank you for joining me. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Please like, comment and subscribe. It's really appreciated. And let me know anything you'd like to know about the cottage. Just pop it in comments. Bye for now.